Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back from summer recess. We are starting our meeting, our Santa Clara LAFCO. Today is August 6th, and our meeting begins at 1:15. I'm happy to be back in person, but for those of you who may not be able to join us in person, there is an opportunity for you to participate in this meeting by virtual teleconference using login information provided on the meeting agenda. Santa Clara LAFCO strongly denounces hate speech and does not tolerate disruptive behavior in our meetings, and LAFCO prides itself on rich diversity of our residents, and we are committed to creating a culture of belonging where members of a diverse community feel included, safe, and respected. The meeting is considered a limited public forum, which means that LAFCO can regulate the time, place, and manner of speech to prevent our meetings from being disrupted. This protects the rights of our other speakers, ensures that LAFCO can accomplish its business in a reasonable and efficient manner. All public comments must relate to that agenda item. If this directive is ignored following a warning by me, the speaker will be muted. LAFCO cannot guarantee that the public's asset or the mic will be uninterrupted, and technical difficulties may occur from time to time unless required by the Brown Act. The meeting will continue despite technical difficulties for participants using the teleconference options. And so members of the public in the chamber who wish to address the commission on any item should complete a request to speak form and place it in the designated tray in front of the dais, and individual speakers will be called to speak. In turn, speakers are requested to limit their comments to 3 or 2 minutes, depending on the chair. Members of the public who are attending the meeting by virtual teleconference and wish to address the commission should use the raised hand feature. Those participating by phone should dial 9, and staff will call on you by name or by the last 4 digits of the phone number. Written public comments will be distributed to the commission and posted to the online agenda, but will not be read out loud. Wonderful. So now we are going to begin our business and ask our wonderful LAFCO clerk to administer our roll call.
Okay. Chairperson Arenas.
I'm here.
Vice Chairperson Kamei. Here. Commissioner Bell. Commissioner Kishimoto. Commissioner Lee.
Present.
Commissioner Trumbull.
Here.
Commissioner Turner. Alternate Commissioner Campos. Alternate Commissioner Chapman.
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Young. Alternate Commissioner Hilton. Alternate Commissioner O'Neill.
Here.
Great. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Beautiful. Okay, so now we're moving on to item number 2. This is public comments, and this portion of the meeting provides an opportunity for our members of the public to address the commission on matters that are not on the agenda, provided that the subject matter is within the jurisdiction of the commission. No action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes. All statements that require a response will be referred to staff for reply in writing. And I will ask our clerk if there's any members of the public in person or on.
Madam Chair, there are no speakers at this time on this
Well,
item.
I am disappointed. We love to hear from our community. But we are going to move on to item number 3, and this is approving our consent calendar. And our consent calendar includes agenda items marked with an asterisk, and the commission may add or remove agenda items. And so I'm wondering if there is any of our commissioners who would like to make any changes to our consent calendar. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Let's see, maybe add items number 9 and 10 to the consent.
Adding 9 and 10, that is a motion, and hopefully we can have a second on that. Perfect. Being that we are going to add items 9 and 10, and we have a motion on the floor, we can please call roll.
Okay. Commissioner Bell? Are we calling the roll? Okay.
No?
This is,
Okay, are we? Okay, do you want me to call the roll?
is it, what other way do we want to do this?
Okay,
Yes,
It's a roll calling
yes.
procedure. Yes.
Commissioner Bell? Yes. Okay, Commissioner Kamei? Yes. Commissioner Kishimoto? Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Trumbull? Yes. And Chairperson Arenas?
And I'm a yes, too. Wonderful. So we have that to set aside, which means we're approving the consent calendar and adding, based on Commissioner Kishimoto's suggestion, items 9 and 10. So now we are going to continue by moving on to item number 4, which is approving the minutes of June 4th, 2025 LAFCO meeting. Oh my gosh, it's on consent. I didn't see the asterisk. Thank you. I'm gonna have this be a summer recess mistake. My mind is still there. And I'm gonna blame Commissioner Beal because he took me back there at the beginning of this meeting. All right, so I'm gonna move on to our public hearing. This is our comprehensive review and update of LAFCO policies. If you remember, we've already went through phase 1. This is phase 2. We have some recommended action, and I'll look to our staff for a presentation, if there is any, or if we can move on to any questions on the item based on the commissioners.
Yeah, I will keep it brief. As you said, back in December, the commission completed phase 1 of this effort. And as you recall, the whole reason we were looking at our policies is to enable LAFCO to meet its legislative mandate, to bring our policies into alignment with state laws, to document our practices and our current and historic practices, and just to provide stronger guidance to agencies, applicants, the public. And so today we're bringing forward proposed updates to some of the remaining policies. These tend to be used less frequently or are more administrative in nature. So specifically, we're addressing service review policies, policies for processing proposals that affect more than one county, the indemnification policy, and our records retention policy. So each of these have now been restructured into their own numbered chapter with corresponding policies and subtitles. They'll ultimately be put together into one comprehensive document. So starting with our service review policies, these have undergone the most substantial changes. Again, they've been reformatted, they've been reordered, rewritten to reflect state law. And they also reflect LAFCO's actual process for conducting our service reviews. The updated set of policies are shown in attachment A1. So again, these incorporate our best practices such as early stakeholder community engagement and also encouraging agencies to implement our service review recommendations. However, at this time, we'd like to request one more additional text change to our service review policies, which is why we have this slide up here. This would be a change to 10.8 service review policies, or service review process 4C. And that's actually page 4 of the policy document. We want to add this language, which really acknowledges the role that prior service reviews will play when we conduct our more current service reviews. We want to look back and see what those recommendations were and see, are they relevant still, and see how have our agencies addressed those. So that would be one place where we would start kind of the process for our new service reviews. So we want to acknowledge that. So we're proposing that this become our new 4C. Now, there is already a 4C in the policies, so we'll just basically change that to 4D, and 4D will become 4E so on and so forth. So we want to recommend that change. And then moving on to our policies for processing proposals that affect more than one county. Again, we've made some minor changes for clarity and readability and to make references to the appropriate sections in state law. And those changes are tracked in attachment B. And then moving on to the indemnification policy. Those are shown in attachment C. And the changes you see there are recommended by our legal counsel. This is to ensure that we have policies that are consistent with state law, which was actually amended back in 2024 to expressly authorize LAFCO to require applicants to defend, indemnify, and hold the agency harmless as a condition of processing an application. So we've updated our policies to be consistent with that part of state law. Moving on to our records retention policy and schedule. Again, the changes that you see in attachment D, they've been recommended again by our legal counsel, and that will help us bring our policy into some alignment with the current state and federal laws. And it'll provide greater guidance to staff on what our records management practices should be at LAFCO. So in summary, staff is recommending that the commission adopt these updated policies, including that additional text change to the proposed service review policies. That's the new 10.8.4C. And to determine that our policy updates are not subject to CEQA. And then looking ahead and consistent with the work plan we adopted, we'll continue to review and prepare updates for those remaining policies. We'll bring those forward to you for consideration and adoption at our October and December meetings. And so with that, Chair Arenas, we're happy to answer any questions that the commission may have on this item. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, before we get into a discussion, I'll check in with our clerk to see if there's any members of the public that would like to participate.
Madam Chair, there are no speakers on this item.
All right, so that allows us for us to continue our conversation or begin our conversation and live to hear from my members of this commission. But I will, since I don't see any lights, I do see a light. Okay, Commissioner O'Neill, go right ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Chair. So on Chapter 12, the indemnification policy, I just needed a little clarification. So the way it's been edited, and it talks about indemnifying or brought a challenge about an approval of an action. It seems to me, as I was thinking about it when I read it, it seems like a lot of legal action possibly would be about the denial of an application. So does that language imply that a denial would be included? Or that was just my only question.
There was some litigation which brought about the current change in law in which indemnification languages were written so broad and such that a LAFCO denied a project and then requested the applicant indemnify it for its denial when the applicant sued LAFCO. So we would not be covered if LAFCO denied a project and the applicant sued us. And that is what I think the update to the law was trying to address. It's really for approvals.
Okay, interesting. Okay, thank you very much.
Great, and Commissioner Kishimoto.
Thank you. Well, my question was also on this item is, and I was just curious, how big a problem it was. I mean, have there been many lawsuits in the last 5 or 10 years?
Not for this LAFCO. If there have been lawsuits, it's been this LAFCO initiating the lawsuit as opposed to LAFCO being sued.
Oh, okay.
So again, this is just really to clean up all of our policies.
I see. And and would you mind just repeating what you just said about the new law that we're not covered if it's a...
If an applicant applies, let's say for an urban service area amendment, and LAFCO denies, the application, we would not be covered if the applicant chose to sue LAFCO for that denial.
Even if they sign this indemnification?
Correct, because they are not going to indemnify. The intent is to indemnify LAFCO from other lawsuits that may be brought.
I see.
So if a third party sues LAFCO, then the applicant should be suing us. But the third
I
party
see.
would sue when we approve an application.
Oh, okay.
And
But so if we deny it and the applicant sues us, or?
Correct. Then
And they-
LAFCO would be,
We carry our own,
We own
we defend
correct.
ourselves.
correct. And I believe we have a legal reserve for potential litigation, but as you asked, we haven't, in my experience, had litigation
Okay,
in that.
thank you.
regard.
And, yeah, and I just wanted to say, I did read through it, and the section on the service review seems to reflect our current practices, so, yeah. So generally, good.
Thank you. I'm going to continue. First of all, I just want to thank you for updating the policies. We got this all going back when we first started, or I started my term here with LAFCO, and I really appreciate. This is relatively straightforward. I think it was a lot more involved in phase one. We got through that, so this is actually pretty straightforward. Although I now I'm wondering about the reserve that we have for our legal defense, and I'm wondering about that only because we haven't been sued before, which is I mean we have, but not lately. I'm gonna knock on wood and make sure. Hopefully, everybody cross their fingers. But we do see some projects coming through the pipeline through Builder's Remedy. And there is, at the crux of that, questions about water, questions about just in terms of services. And I can see potentially something happening through that pipeline. And I guess it would be great to figure out what the process looks like if folks are not, and not to say that I'm anticipating LAFCO denying any approvals for our builder's remedy, but I could see us getting into kind of a pickle, especially with a lot of applications in our county. In my district, we have quite a bit. So just for our own sake, figuring out what that reserve looks like, what our defense would be in case people are not happy. And I know that's anticipating and it's outside of these policies, but I think it's within this conversation that we brought up around this indemnification and not being protected based on approvals. And it's a risk we take, right? I mean, we're upholding these policies, we're writing these down so they're clear and we can figure out, based on the policies, we're making these decisions. And so I think for us, this is a step in the right direction in terms of protecting ourselves. This is our own indemnification, if you will, is writing our policies down. But I'm going to guess that there might be some things up ahead. So it would just be great to figure that piece out.
If I may, Chair Arenas, we do have a $200,000 reserve, not specifically for litigation, but just for contingency, including litigation, any potential litigation. So that's just to give you an idea of how vast or not
Yeah.
our reserve is. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, we can talk about this on another occasion, but I wonder how we could maybe build allyship with the County of Santa Clara and I'm not offering just that, yeah, because I haven't checked in with our county executive, I'm talking off the cuff. But we have a vast resource of legal experts within our arm of the county. So anyways, in case that happens, I think that I just would love to figure out what that would look like and how we can mount some resources if we need to. And thank you for bringing that question up, Commissioner O'Neill and Kishimoto. I am really good with all of the policies as they're written. I accept also that, I think it was 10.8.4C, in addition to what the current changes are that have already been made. In particular, I reached out to City of Gilroy and City of Morgan Hill because I know that they have had feedback in Phase 1. I only heard back from City of Gilroy, which said exactly what I'm telling you. We gave you feedback in Phase 1. We don't have any feedback for Phase 2. I haven't heard from City of Morgan Hill, but since we have a commissioner that represents that area, I trust that particular commissioner did their part. So I was just wondering if there was any feedback that you have gotten from any of the cities on this Phase 2.
No.
Well, that is really great news. All right. I don't know if somebody wants to go ahead and Commissioner Kishimoto, did you want to speak once again?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Kamei, and I am looking for a motion as well, whenever the time comes.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who worked on this, and I know that this is like, and I see the next one is going to be the bylaws. It's like going through bylaws, right? But updating it is critically important, and so I just want to thank the staff and thank everyone who is involved in bringing it together, and I'd like to move the item with staff's recommendation.
Wonderful. We have a motion from Commissioner Kamei and a second from Commissioner Trumbull. And if there's not any other comments, we're going to go ahead and do a roll call on that one.
Okay. Commissioner Bell? Commissioner Kamei? Commissioner Kishimoto? Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Trumbull? Chairperson Renis?
Yes. Wonderful. This feels really good. Thank you so much. I want to thank our staff once again. I know I got ourselves going on this, but I think we're going in the right direction, especially when there's so many questions around builder's remedy, when our open space and our county land is at the helm of this in terms of questions and building and developing. And so I love that we have this already in place. Like I said, I feel like this is our indemnification. This is how we are protecting ourselves in the policies. And I know it was a huge lift. I know Phase 1 was a huge lift. This is also a huge lift. I just want to thank you for all of this. And then I'm going to move us on to item number 7. Which is Cal LAFCO related activities. And this is the first one is 7.1 Cal LAFCO University courses.
Yeah, this is just for information only. Cal LAFCO is underway in terms of having its university courses. And this is just to let you know which ones have taken place and what to expect, at least through the end of the year. I understand that some of our commissioners did attend the commissioner best practices session, and I hope they found it informative. I sat in as well, and I think it was a good refresher. I've been in government for a long time, but still, I thought a lot of the things were useful. So that's 7.1.
Wonderful. And where can we find a list of courses? Where can...
On the Cal LAFCO website, they do list these, and then in the staff report. Right now, these are the 3 that are anticipated for the remainder of the year. I know they're still trying to add more sessions, so as we hear about them, we'll definitely get the word out to commissioners, and so that you can know when they are and maybe consider attending if something piques your interest and you have the time.
That would be wonderful. I think we also talked about a field trip. I don't know if maybe this would allow us to do an off-site field trip and take a Cal LAFCO University course for our commissioners. All right, I'm going to move on to 7.2. I know this is information only, and this is our annual conference, October 22nd through the 24th. If you haven't registered, please do so, and I strongly recommend you attending. I know, Lima, you headed a very, and I think the best workshop in the conference that we attended last year, and I look forward to attending this upcoming year. And we can move on to 7.3 unless you want to add anything to our Cal LAFCO.
Just reach out to Sonia. I know Sonia has sent, I think, email messages to see who's interested in attending so she can register you. I know there is a deadline, at least for the early bird fee. So, yeah, if you're interested, reach. August 20th is the early bird deadline. So please let us know if you're interested in attending, and we'll get you registered.
I love it. Yes, let's early bird it, everybody. Okay, so we are going to move on to 7.3. This is nominations to the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors, and this is the opportunity we have to nominate anyone who's interested in becoming a commissioner and providing that kind of support at a statewide level. I know that I would like to nominate my co-chair, Commissioner Kamei, to the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors, if you would accept that nomination.
Yes, thank you so much. I participated 2 years ago in the Cal LAFCO conference, but now it's sort of rotating to have the city's representation and the public members' representation. So this would be a very good opportunity for us. And if the commission chooses to nominate me for the board of directors. Thank you.
Do you need a second, Chair, on this?
I would love a second.
I'll definitely second that.
Awesome, awesome. So we have to do a roll call on that one.
Yes, and if we can just confirm there's no public comment on that item.
Of course.
Madam Chair, there are no speakers on this item.
Okay, well, speak now or forever hold it. All right, so go ahead and count us off.
Okay. Commissioner Bell? Aye. Commissioner Kamei? Aye. Commissioner Kishimoto? Aye. Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Trumbull? Yes. And Chairperson Arenas?
Yes, I look forward to your service. Good luck. And now we are going to move on to 7.4. This is designate voting delegate and alternate for your 2025 Cal LAFCO Board of Directors election. And this is our commission appointing a voting delegate and alternative voting delegate. Is this also based on a nomination or yes? Okay.
I think they need to designate someone, but of course, we'd like to designate someone who's going to be in attendance or can attend that annual meeting and represent Santa
Yeah,
Clara
I'm going to
LAFCO.
look at our commissioners and see who wants to attend, who would like to be a voting delegate.
Yes, I will be attending.
It was obvious, but I wanted also to, I didn't want to mandateer it. Okay, so do you want to make that motion? And I can be the alternate. If nobody else wants, I will be attending.
Okay. I will like to appoint myself, Rosemary Kamei, as the voting delegate and Chair Arenas as the alternate voting delegate for the 2025 Cal LAFCO Board of Directors election.
Second.
Perfect. Oh, this is exciting, everyone. This annual conference will we'll be one of the best. All right. Okay, so we are really at the tail end of this. So we have,
Chair, if we could just have a roll call vote after we confirm that there's no public comment on that.
why do we
It's
need
been a long
vote?
summer.
It's been a long summer.
Again, there are no speakers on this item. Okay, now,
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, everybody.
And then we'll do roll call.
okay, then Commissioner Bell? Commissioner Kamei? Commissioner Kishimoto? Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Trumbull? And Chairperson Arenas.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, now we are going to move on to item number 8. This is our commissioner's report, and I'm going to look to my commissioners to see if they have anything to report. Anything exciting, anything coming up? All right. This is where we would get the gossip from each other, but no news is good news, right? Okay. So there's nothing else for us to do other than to adjourn this wonderful first meeting and the regular LAFCO. No, there was a record before. We already established a really quick record, and I think it was within, I think it was 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. So we're going to adjourn this meeting and look forward to our regular LAFCO meeting on October 1st at 1:15 in the same chambers. Thank you, everyone.